Welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your host, Steve and Jeff. Steve, today we're talking about oils ain't oils.
Oh, I remember that ad.
And do you remember who got in big trouble for Cash for Comments?
Yes,
for saying
I
that
do.
as well,
He's still on the radio to this very day. Can we mention his name?
John Laws?
Yes, we did mention his name.
I think he's like 93 or something now, isn't he? He's pretty old. He's very, very powerful guy. And was it 2GB or something like that?
Yeah, he was on 2GB, and now he's on 2UE. 2UE. My memory serves me.
And a commentator here, shock jock, if you like, but an older guy, quite conservative, very forceful opinion. Anyway, so he made a famous statement saying oils ain't oils, which is part of an ad. Now, today we're going to be talking about something a little bit controversial around oils.
Yes.
Good oils, bad oils.
Yeah.
Should humans be having oils? What's this deal with plant oils? Are they from the devil or are they good for you?
Yeah.
So, Steve, there's like everything.
Yes.
And again, if the internet is your sole source of truth, then you've got everything from brilliant to completely terrible. The whole idea of taking information and looking at it means that you need to question everything.
Yes,
and that's what we always say. So here's a case in point that we're going to be talking about today where TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and I'm not even sure, I mean, I heard you guys talking about this, around information that's coming out that people are starting to believe.
Yeah, now a lot of people are going to roll their eyes about TikTok and all that sort of thing, but that's where there's millions and probably billions on TikTok or view TikTok.
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just got.
I like TikTok.
Yeah, I went on it
because it tells you everything. Like there's complete crap insanity. There's stuff on there that I completely disagree with in terms of whatever it is, and I don't know what we can and can't say anymore. I'm so confused about the rules. Anyway, so Steve, let's hope we don't wind up in prison over this controversial.
But this is a controversial topic because vegetable oils, are they good or bad? And the bottom line answer is both. They are good and bad, and it depends. So if we look at TikTok and look at the studies, you'll see what I'm saying. By the end, you'll get a clear picture of which oils to use.
In terms of fats, we know that rancid fats, we know that trans fats, we know there's quite a few things that are bad for you, Steve.
Yeah,
oxidized and all the rest of it, sure.
I haven't mentioned trans fats because I know they're bad for you. Everyone knows that. But these are vegetables. Remember, some of these have got the tick from the Heart Foundation.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. And so we need to dive into this a little bit quicker. All right, so do you want to start with one of the... Matt, do you want to start
do you want to go on TikTok?
I'll load us up. Okay, well, it'll be interesting. And as I said, nobody has an absolute stranglehold on the truth and say, I have the truth and everybody else is a lie. The ideas, sharpening iron, things should be debated, things should be spoken about.
Yep.
Nobody should be locked up for their opinion. Now, I know that there are some crazies out there saying that the earth is flat. I have no problem with them saying that. You know what I mean? And if you can prove to me that the earth is flat, like scientifically and beyond a shadow of a doubt, well, I'll absolutely consider it. But
I can prove with this bit of paper in this pen that the earth's not flat.
Yeah.
There's a method.
Okay.
But don't worry.
I'm
quoting Carl Sagan.
You're preaching to the choir.
All right, ticky-tocky.
Vegetable oils belong in the engines of cars, not in your food.
Vegetable oils are a fascinating topic because they've become labeled as heart healthy, which drives me a little crazy because the label was granted to them simply by lowering LDL cholesterol. But the broader question is, what else are they doing? These are not real food products. These are products made in factories. These are products that require heat and chemicals and high pressure to extract what little oil there is.
The heat and chemicals used in the manufacturing process oxidizes these delicate seed oils. When you eat oxidized vegetable oils like soy, canola, corn, and safflower or sunflower, they create free radicals throughout your body that are highly inflammatory and known to cause heart disease and cancer.
And then they're used by restaurants in the most carcinogenic way possible. Heat them, reheat them, cool them off, heat them again, and use them for a week. So switching to vegetable oils or seed oils was probably a terrible idea in the first place.
If it comes in a bottle or a box, it probably contains vegetable oils, from crackers to cookies, mayonnaise to salad dressings, baby food, and even baby formula.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, Steve,
There you
that's interesting. And look, from what I can see there, and again, this is my lay point of as compared to your professional, I agree with most of that. I think obviously, reusing, oils and that sort of stuff. We know trans oils, a lot of those are genetically modified oils as well too. In terms of using solvents, I do believe that we are using far too many of those types of oils. So what's the controversy?
Yeah, sure. The controversy comes about it when they look at the vegetables and how they're actually used.
Right.
So there's been studies on this, and we'll look at the first study where they looked at, and this is a big study, where is it, this one? Vegetable intake and breast cancer risk, a meta-analysis. So it's a big study published fairly recently.
On just vegetables?
Just vegetable
So
oil.
not vegetable oils, but just eating vegetables?
Vegetable oils. Just
vegetable oils. Right.
So what we know is that basically total fat intake may be associated with increased risk of cancer, and fish oil has been suggested to be a protective factor. So that's what they start with the paper. So there's those sort of that they explore. But what they explored was that higher intake of vegetable oil is not associated with the risk of breast cancer. And they only picked breast cancer because that's what they're looking at, and it's quite a common cancer. Olive oil might be protective. So they suggest olive oil is protective, but vegetable oil is non-carcinogenic. But then I look at another paper.
What is an olive?
What's an olive? Like it's a little green-coloured fruit thing.
Okay, is it fruit?
Yep, it is.
It's not vegetable.
No.
Okay, so what's avocado?
Well, avocado's a fruit.
Yeah. Okay, but in terms of good vegetable oils versus bad, couldn't it have a lot to do with the way that it's processed?
Absolutely, it does, and that's what what they look at people actual using, like cooking with these vegetable oils, and they're often vegetable oils are also called cooking oils, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you cook with them, and particularly if you cook it the way they do it, they're 110% correct.
Yes.
What they found in this study was, and this is published, that deep frying cooking oils promote high risk metastasis in a breast, so cancer, a critical review. So another big review, and it says here, strongly promoting tumorigenic effects in the mammary organ. So in other words, it does cause cancer if you cook with these oils.
Right.
So normal vegetable oil, eaten raw, there's no way either way for cancer. When you cook them, all bets are off.
But Steve, I think there's more to it as well too, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here.
That's all right.
But let me just come back to the premise of saying this as well too. If we look at canola oil or rapeseed, which obviously it's called, typically you're looking at monocrops.
Yep.
You're looking at poor soil for a start. Then you're looking at genetically modified. Then you're looking at all the pesticides as well. So you've got genetically modified crops that are then sprayed with all sorts of pesticides and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? They're then mass processed. Then I'm not sure, but this is something I don't know enough about. How do they get the oil out? Are there any chemical solvents that are used? Because obviously a lot of solvents and things like that, we should not be consuming those or eating foods that are, because there's what do they call residual left in the processing of that. Certainly heat, we know that some things denature with heat, which changes the molecular structure. So something goes from being good to bad. I'm thinking cold pressed. I'm thinking other things like that, Steve. But you keep going and show me where you and this is what we don't want, I guess, is people going, here's one study on frankenfood, genetically modified, mass processed, full of carcinogens, starting with a whole heap of weed killer on it to start with. And then they go, here, drink this. It's like, no, thank you. Versus something that's organically grown, cold pressed and harvested and looked after and, done the way that nature would do it.
Well, it won't surprise you to tell you those cold-pressed oils, particularly olive oil, are very beneficial for you. Okay. So, but going back to this vegetable oil thing, we have to understand the difference between what we call saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated fats. Everyone's probably familiar with those terms.
I've heard the terms, so explain to people what the difference is, Steve.
Okay. So, poly in Greek means many. And unsaturated means that the chemical hasn't been saturated with hydrogen ions. So, in other words, the structure of the fat has got what we call carbons that are all joined with hydrogens. That's what oil is. And it's got double bonds between them. Now, a double bond is a pair of electrons. Okay, between them. Now, when they're polyunsaturated, they're very unstable during heat. So as the video correctly pointed out, as soon as you heat these things, the double bonds break. And you think double bonds stronger than single, but they're not. Double bonds are much weaker, and the electron goes free and goes radical, basically.
Yeah.
Becomes a free radical.
Yeah.
Now, remember, oxidation is defined as the loss of an electron. So these pairs of electrons, you lose one. So the whole thing becomes unstable. You lose an electron, and that becomes oxidized oil, and that's incredibly bad for you. So any sort of heating with these oils, particularly polyunsaturated.
So name the most commonly found or used polyunsaturated oils in the home. And I don't know. In New Zealand, mate, one of my favourite meals was nipping down the local fish and chip shop to grab my and New Zealand makes the best. I'm sorry, New Zealand makes the best fish and chips.
You've got to speak in the accent, though.
Go down for some fish and chips.
That's it.
Yep.
Now we know.
Yeah.
All right.
And I did used to sound like that. Well, more than what I do now.
Yeah.
But yeah, go down for some fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
And I'd go down with Jacinta Edhern and we'd have something to eat and maybe have a glass of milk.
So, vegetables. Yes. So let's say you nip down for some fish and chips.
Yep.
You got to remember that the guy or girl who's running the fish and chip shop has these big heated oils, and they're ready to go at any second. So they're hot at 180 to 200 degrees
What is that?
Celsius.
What is that oil that they use in fish and chips?
It depends.
Yeah.
It's a vegetable oil, definitely.
Is it canola?
It's usually sunflower oil.
Sunflower.
Some use sunflower and all that sort of thing, but
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I never knew. Anyway, it was delicious. But are you saying?
Tastes beautiful.
But the problem is obviously that if you're so the first time that you use this, Steve, is this one of the oils that you'd say is a watch out?
Yeah, definitely. And there you go. There's canola oil too they use.
Yeah, right.
And sustained palm oil.
Okay.
But anyway, if you're constantly heating this oil up, whatever it is, and I've got even saturated fats, even coconut oil, if you constantly heat it, it's carcinogenic.
Even coconut oil?
Even coconut oil.
Right. And I
I've
imagine
got a paper on that.
strong flavour.
So whichever oil you use, you got to remember that if you're having, there you go, canola and sunflower oils cook.
Right.
That's the main thing. That's what that company uses, which is a pretty big company.
Yeah, canola oil. McDonald's uses canola oil. So for making their chips,
canola and sunflower to cook with. Blending fruit
ingredients. Okay.
So they use a genetically modified oil and a polyunsaturated oil.
So in terms then, Steve-O, when you're consuming this, you're just basically having a mouthful of free radicals.
You are, because you got to remember that it's not like, well, let's say you cook something at home and you fry a piece of fish for 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Put oil in the pan. Let's say you use the wrong oil. It's still heated for 10 to 15 minutes, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But how long are those things heated for?
Well, sometimes, Steve, my sister used to work at a fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling they only change the oil over once a week.
Yeah, well, they on the video they said once a week.
Right.
So, but how many? You've got it hot from, let's say 11 a.m. when you open till about 9 at night.
Yeah.
So that's about 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Times 7, 70 hours of heating this oil. And you're dipping chips in it, but just heating it.
So going to get Friday night fish and chips, you're better off getting it on a Monday.
Oh, yeah, well, it depends on when they change the oil.
So does the process keep going, or does it get to a sort of a saturation point?
No, it keeps going. Because
it's amazing.
If you ever watch Gordon Ramsay going into these kitchen nightmares,
I love it. They're great
shows.
He'll
eat it. Oh, that's rancid, and you can taste it. And he can taste it, and everyone can. That's why people don't go to that particular restaurant, because it's a shitty one. But even like 7 days, that'll be the minimum. So if you're heating something for 70 hours compared to 15 minutes at home, and you got to remember they're hot, those bloody fryers.
Wow. So it's just being turbocharged with free radicals, Steve. Basically, long story short, is that those when something becomes a free radical, Steve, it's what is it? The ion. What is it losing?
An electron.
Electron. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's just literally a wrecking ball that's going through. And unless you've got high levels of antioxidants to combat that, to basically give one of those, ions back to them, electrons back to them, then that's when it stops. But if it doesn't, it just keeps. It's just an ongoing process.
Well,
right?
It's an ongoing process even because if you take vitamin C, let's say, a common antioxidant, if it takes on an electron, it becomes an ascorbyl free radical, which is not as dangerous, but it's got a shuttle to vitamin E and then vitamin D and, all these. It shuttles around. The electron doesn't disappear. It doesn't just get neutralized.
Right.
So free radicals are really bad.
So we'll talk about it right at the end in terms of if you are concerned. And it's something that we used to talk about. I feel we used to talk about antioxidants and free radicals a lot more in the 90s and sort of 2000. I don't hear them being spoken about much these days, like not as much.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, again, Steve, I know that we work with a lot of performance-based athletes and we're looking at a lot of gut health sort of stuff. Yeah. And maybe I'm a little bit blinded to it, but antioxidants have become unsexy. They used to be hugely sexy. Yeah, it's like, for aging and disease, you need your antioxidants. But, and obviously we recommend fresh fruit and vegetables, but Steve, let's hold this over to the end.
I know.
If you've been eating a lot of fish and chips, about what you should be incorporating in terms of foods and potentially even supplementation. And I think there's an opportunity for both here. I mean, obviously fresh is best and fresh food is brilliant, but let's hold that over to the end. So,
can I tell you one other problem with fish and chips?
Yeah.
Let's say you go...
Or burgers. Because a lot of people don't eat fish and chips, but what about burgers? But anyway, go on with your fish and chips.
Let's say you go and get your fish and chips there. How much antioxidants or how many antioxidants are in fish and chips?
None.
Zero, virtually.
No. Would there be anything?
Maybe a little bit of vitamin C in the potatoes that have been cooked, which vitamin C is heat sensitive. So you've virtually got no antioxidants, but a bucket of free radicals. So and that's just your fish and chips thing. And people eat a lot of chips. And people eat a lot of deep fried packets of potato chips. Guess what happens? Same. The vegetable oil is cooked and the chips come in. Now, you and I mightn't eat many of these things. I don't, but there's people listening who eat a lot of chips. They're consumed by the ton in Australia anyway, and America and England. And they're a very common food source.
Wow.
So
I've never really thought about it in that sort of sense, Steve-O. I haven't.
Well, you imagine the buckets they go through of like fish and chips that people. But the one thing about that video, just to talk about it, like a lot of it's correct, but don't put vegetable oil in your engine of your car. That doesn't belong in the engine of your car. Please use semi-synthetic or synthetic oils for your car.
Mineral oils?
Yeah, mineral oils, because they're much more stable under super high temperatures in your engine.
Yeah, and
otherwise,
synthetics.
You'll rust the inside of your engine using vegetable oils because your free radicals will go too high.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you'll rust it. Now remember...
Oxidization.
If oxidation is loss of an electron. So if you've got iron in there, which is engines are made of iron and other things, and keeping it very simple, iron, Fe is the chemical for iron. Ferrous is the Latin name for it. So if you strip a couple of electrons off iron, it turns into Fe2+, right? And Fe2+ is rust.
Right.
Usually it's iron sulfate or something, but that's rust.
Wow.
So if you want to rust your engine, put vegetable oil in it. And I know that Mythbusters did it.
Yeah.
Did you see that episode?
No.
Oh, they wanted to, quote, save money, and they got an old Jeep and they put vegetable in it.
Yeah.
And it lasted for a while and it blew up.
Right.
So don't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that was designed, they weren't doing it.
So is there any oils out there, Steve, if people like McDonald's and KFC are listening, and they often do.
Yep.
Because they want to offer their clients, better foods, or the local fish and chip shop.
All right.
What could you do? What type of oil would you use for a start?
All right.
And how often would you change it?
Oh, all right. Well, changing it every shift would be a bit of a worry. But what I did was I looked at the studies and I thought, okay, I'll try to pick the most stable oil, which are the saturated fats. And I tried to pick one mass-produced, so I picked on coconut oil, which is considered a healthy oil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for you. Basically, this was the conclusion of the study. Basically, they repeatedly heated coconut oil for a week in this study. And I'll read the title for you, and it's a little bit damning already. Genotoxic and carcinogenic risks associated with the dietary consumption of repeatedly heated coconut oil. So even a saturated fat, like a very stable fat like coconut oil, in conclusion, dietary consumption of repeatedly heated oil can cause genotoxic and pre-neoplastic changes in the liver. So if you repeatedly eat these, you heat any sort of oil, repeated, it's going to cause cancer.
Wowzers.
Even a beautiful, stable one.
Can I throw something? Okay.
Throw it.
All right.
Yeah.
So forget about takeaway food then.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're having McDonald's, if you're having KFC, if you're having fish and chips,
yep.
If you're consuming anything that's basically, especially anything that's deep fried,
yeah,
There's probably no getting away from the free radical damage.
Look, I mean, if you're going to, and we're going to, you know, I'd avoid deep frying anyway because of the heat.
Baked is better. Baked chips. So
Yeah.
even at home, right?
Yeah.
But mind you, if you're, I don't know too many people that would have a deep fry or an air fryer. They've probably got an air fryer or bake their chips, right? I mean, most people in their home, that's what they're going to do, right? They're going to bake them. They're not going to fry them. That's bad.
Okay, that's
so, and especially from commercial enterprises where they're not changing it for up to a week, and especially it would be interesting to see the level of free radicals that increase between. Let's say if they change it on a Saturday afternoon shift or a Sunday shift, ready for the new week.
Yeah.
On a Monday, for first dip of the chip, you're probably doing all right, right? So on your way to work on Monday morning, stop over, get some fries. You know, that's good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not good for you. But,
It's better.
You know, better for you, as opposed to Saturday night, you're going for the munchies with the boys.
Yeah.
You're literally, I don't know how many times worse, but it's got to be a lot worse.
It's terrible, and it's carcinogenic, and that's the scariest part of this.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. If you are using at home,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say the best has got to be olive oil, like to cook with, right?
Yes.
But you cook with it and then you're done. You throw it out, you wash it, you know, what have you. But is there anything else, Steve? I mean, yeah. What should we not do at home and what should we do at home?
Okay, don't use your cooking oils for cooking. You know, and there's a video with all the cooking oils on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it's an American video, it's the same in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't use them for cooking.
What do you use them for then?
Well, nothing. How does that sound? Because there are oils that are associated with the reductions of cancer, and these vegetable oils, at best, don't decrease it or don't increase it. So they do nothing.
So what would you use then if you're going to say...
So deep fry?
No. Well,
Just cook?
Do you ever deep fry?
No.
No. But... So most of the people listening to this are probably healthy, right?
Yeah.
So, or trying to be healthier. So you're going to bake. If you're going to have chips, you're probably going to bake them or use an air fryer.
Yeah.
But let's say you are cooking up a steak.
Okay.
Or you're cooking up, I don't know, what else? What else would you need oil for? Eggs.
Eggs, sure.
Okay. What are you going to use?
There's 3 oils you can use that have been shown to be stable.
Okay, so
from cooking once.
Well, let's go. Cooking. Well, let's go from the worst don't use through to the moderate, and then the best oils that you can use. Can you don't use canola?
Yep, don't
Would
use
that
canola.
be the worst?
That would be the worst for 2 reasons.
Why?
It's firstly
Forget about the GMO and all that.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is
we'll talk about
GMO,
that.
and it's also low in polyphenols. So
Right.
it's low in nutrients. It's very, very refined.
So on the scale, you'd put canola oil at the absolute worst.
That or sunflower oil, because sunflower oil has other bad things to it, because that's got the double bond free radical. If you heat that one,
Because you think about it, I mean, I think
Yeah.
for people like me who are a bit more lay on this sort of, I go, yeah, I know canola oil's not good because of all of the
That's bad,
GMO
yeah.
crops and all the rest of it, right?
Oh,
And you
we
think of sunflower, you go, vitamin E.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like this. You get this picture in your head of this big flower, and you think, yeah,
it's true, but what if you heat it?
terrible, eh?
Yeah, because it's got the double bonds in it. Canola oil is mostly monounsaturated.
Okay. So which one are you going to put worse then, sunflower or canola?
Well, probably canola because it's
GMO.
Yeah, it's GMO, and that's a real unknown. But it's probably more heat stable. So sunflower oil is free radical city.
Okay.
But canola oil has what they call a lower smoke point.
Right.
Sorry, higher smoke point. In other words, it takes a lot more heat to start it smoking, and smoking is really bad for you. That's free
Why?
radical city.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening when it's smoking?
It's basically the oil is boiled over and turned into a vapor. So very dangerous for you.
Right.
Very, very, a lot of heat there. And you got to remember, some oils are heat stable.
Yeah.
And some aren't.
Yeah.
And, you know, sunflower oil is not.
Okay, so we're putting sunflower at the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
and then
good thing about
canola
McDonald's-
right next to it.
The good thing about McDonald's is they use a mix of both of them.
Oh,
So you can just take your pick.
I wonder why. Why would you go and use sunflower?
It's cheap.
Right. It's
And-
cheaper than canola.
Well, canola oil's cheap too, but canola's got
Cheap as
a slightly...
chips.
It's got a
They're not that
slightly
cheap
high-
anymore. Have you noticed with inflation?
I haven't noticed.
Nothing's freaking cheap anymore.
I don't know how much chips.
That was a trick question, Steve.
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But McDonald's, it gets worse with McDonald's because their fries are very finely cut. You know what that means?
More coating.
More surface area.
More surface area for the
the oil to.
You want your wedges.
Yeah. I mean, it's the worst of a bad lot, but yeah, you do want the wedges.
I love that saying. What's the What's the problem with choosing the lesser of two evils, Steve?
Yeah, I know. They're both still evil.
You're still choosing evil.
You are. And that's what wedges compared to fries are.
Yeah.
They're both still evil, but if you, you know.
Lesser of...
I've got a gun to my head.
Yeah.
I'd eat them. So even if you, deep fry, if you use saturated fats, the healthy fats that are more stable, saturated, coconut.
Okay, so we've gone sunflower, terrible, canola, probably just as bad.
Yeah, probably
okay.
as bad.
What's the next one up from there? So what's the other one? So canola, what else do people use a lot?
Olive,
yeah.
for deep frying.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't cook.
No, not deep frying, but when you, yeah.
Oh, pan frying. Okay, if you're going to pan fry.
What else is there? So olive would definitely be up there, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can you look up the? Well, I really like butter.
Yeah, it's good.
I like butter, and this is the funny thing again too. The hangover, most typical oils to cook with. If you can type in that, Matt, just so that we can, so everyone that's listening can cover off and go. Well, I use brown rice oil, and it's got oryzanol in there, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. So olive oil, canola oil, peanut oil, avocado oil, sunflower and safflower.
Yeah.
Soybean, coconut. So the other ones I wouldn't mind mentioning, Steve, is brown rice oil, which became very popular a few years ago.
It's got gamma-rosinol in it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And apparently was supposed to be quite good as far as heat and all that sort of stuff was
It's
concerned.
okay for heat. It's fairly stable in the heat.
They said that it had some benefits, but I don't know, Steve. You're the...
For your gut.
Yeah.
A peanut oil, it depends on the strain of peanuts. The peanuts they use in a brand.
There you go. What are the top 10 cooking oils? Can you look at that one?
Oh, yeah. Pure olive oil, that's good. That's
Avocado,
good to cook with.
Vegetable.
Avocado's good.
What is vegetable?
Yeah, bad.
Safflower, peanut,
Bad.
sesame.
Bad.
Oh, yeah. Flaxseed, sesame oil. Yeah.
Flaxseed is good to have not cooked with, though.
Right.
Because that contains alpha-linolenic acid.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that, but it's a good oil for you.
Okay.
And coconut oil is good for you, but don't
Don't heat it.
Well, you never reheat any of these oils because even coconut oil is bad.
But a lot of people at home probably wouldn't, Steve.
Yeah.
And
so of those,
I mean, can I tell you when I'm making eggs? Do you know what I reach for?
What?
Butter.
Yeah.
I just use organic butter.
Butter's fine.
Yeah.
Butter is fine. Now, you got to remember the only reason why, and it said in the video, that these vegetables are given a tick is because they reduce LDL cholesterol, which is a terrible judgment of characters. It's like saying, oh, that person's nice because they've got good shoes on. It's only one aspect of them, and it doesn't show their whole, persona. And that's the way these vegetable oils were given, Heart Foundation.
Nice shoes, but carrying a huge freaking knife.
Exactly.
And is a psychopath.
And
will stab you.
And the cooking oils, the vegetable oils they use, are carcinogenic when they're heated.
Okay.
There's no ifs or buts. So if you're going to cook at home,
no ifs, no buts. But coconuts.
Coconuts are good.
So we're not having canola. We're not having what was the other one? Sunflower
oil.
So then just quickly sort of rate them through other ones that you wouldn't use, and then up to a couple that you would.
Wouldn't use soybean oil.
Wouldn't use soy. Well, again, there's GMO crops as well.
Yeah,
too.
GMO.
Do people use is soy popular? It is.
Well, it was up there before.
Okay.
But I wouldn't use flax for cooking.
No.
Avocado oil is good.
Yep.
It's a lot. It's quite high in saturated fats.
But if you were going to pick of all of these ones, Steve,
which one to cook with?
I'm going to go for
extra virgin cold pressed olive oil.
There you go, olive oil.
Just because it's got benefits as well, and it's been used for thousands of years for cooking.
Smoke point?
Very, very high.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so you can actually...
You just use it once?
Yeah, you only use oil once ever.
Would you use between that and butter?
I would use olive oil for low heat cooking. I know it sounds a bit weird.
What's low heat?
Well, that's things like if you wanted to spray them on vegetables. To get a crispness on your chips, say, for example, if you cut, want to make your own chips, but also cooking fish.
Or on your carrots?
Yep.
Your turnips?
Yep, all those sorts of things.
Sort of stuff.
For steak, olive oil will still be okay, but I'd probably err on butter.
Yeah.
It gives it a much more, a much higher smoke point.
Okay.
And it's saturated, so it's more stable.
Okay.
So... But mainly coconut oil, and that's what I use at home, the extra virgin. Because and get the one that's greeny looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's got the polyphenols in it.
Yeah.
And they're semi-heat stable. So, sometimes you don't cook crap out of them.
Yeah.
You cook fish with them, totally fine. Because you don't cook fish at high temperatures. Maybe a hard steak you do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I do. But we've got a few other TikTok videos.
All right. So I think we've laid the foundation, Steve, in terms of... So oils... There's a little bit of room here. There's definitely some bad ones, and there's definitely some better ones.
There's some good ones, and I'm going to go through some actual ones that actually are very good for you.
Well, the interesting thing about olive oil on salads, brilliant.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's kind of how we would recommend that you use them, because there's, as we say, there's a crap ton of benefits in virgin, cold pressed olive oil. Very good for you.
And I haven't given you the best of all oils I'm going to save.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Good. Because that actually prevents three things. Obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer.
So we've got to do that. We've got to talk about your best antioxidants.
Yep.
And what was the other thing that we said that we're going to save till last? Was there something else?
I thought there was only two things.
Was there only two things?
That's right, yeah. But and alpha-linolenic acid.
Okay.
Which is an omega-3 oil.
All right, let's go.
Okay, go for the next one, because these are interesting.
I interviewed two brilliant minds on my Keto Camp podcast last year. Dr. Kate Shanahan, who wrote the book Fat Burn Fix, Deep Nutrition. She was the nutritionist for the Los Angeles Lakers when Kobe Bryant used to be there. I interviewed Brian Peskin, MIT researcher, and I asked them both the same question. Hey, Dr. Kate Shanahan. Hey, Brian Peskin. What do you think is worse for a human being? Smoking cigarettes every single day or eating cooked vegetable oils? And Brian Peskin, brilliant mind, he said, well, if somebody smoked 2 packs of cigarettes every single day for up to 28 years, the chances of that person developing lung cancer is about 16%, according to his research. If somebody consumed vegetable oils every single day for 28 years, the chances of them getting cancer and or heart disease is 86% within those 28 years. I asked Dr. Kay Shanahan, she said, actually, Ben, it's closer to 100%.
Wowzers.
Those figures actually stand up.
Now, if you had asked me before we had the little conversation before now, smoking versus eating cooked oils, and again, depending, and there's some random stuff in there, as I said, if you're eating out where you're eating at the end of the week on a weekend when the oil is old, I don't know, maybe they turn it over on Saturday morning, who knows, right? But there's some variances there we don't know. But I would have suggested that smoking would have been worse for your health. I would have just assumed.
Well, we know that smoking regularly, it gives about a 1 in 5 chance of you getting lung cancer and dying.
Right.
There's a lot of people who smoke their whole life and don't get lung cancer. But 1 in 5 is huge. That's massive.
20%, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, go outside, roll a dice.
Yeah, exactly. So they said 16%, and I say 20, but anyway, it's about that. Now, vegetable oils, you got to think they also added another variable in there. They added heart disease. So it's a little bit misleading. They said cancer and heart disease.
Right.
And you got 100%. Well,
but doesn't smoking also cause heart disease?
No, they just said you get lung cancer. So smoking also is a massive risk for heart disease. So if you add that in there.
But how many people are probably doing both?
Oh,
you're a goner.
Well, you got to remember that's likely.
Yeah.
Because most people use vegetable oils, cooking oils to cook with.
It's funny though. Antonio and I were noticing as well the other day. We hardly see anyone smoking. There's a guy who smokes. I take my little dash down for a walk every morning. And there's a guy that sits up on his balcony at, I don't know what time, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. And man, it's so it's like a punch in the face when you get that cigarette smoke. People have been vaping a lot more, but that's probably worse than smoking. Like the water vapor on the lungs is just turning your lungs to mold, right? It's just disgusting. But anyway, having said that, but this is the next frontier, I think. I mean, imagine if they make them put, and they won't. Do you know why? Because it's food. They won't make them put and some of these got the opposite. On Pat's cigarettes here in Australia, you had to put pictures of cancers.
Yes.
Right? And I'll take the bad for my baby because I'm a male, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are stupid.
That's clever, isn't it?
Yeah. but I had throat cancer and all these different types of cancers. When are they going to do that with these oils?
No, they've got the tick on it.
I know. The opposite. They've got the heart tick.
Well, the problem with them is the little bit of misdirection in that video where they said, what are your chances of getting heart disease or cancer? Now, heart disease,
sure.
Most people will get heart disease in their lifestyle. Now, what do you define as heart disease? Narrowing of the coronary arteries. That's what it classically is.
Right.
Now, my mother's got heart disease. My dad's got heart disease. So narrowing of them, they've had stents, and now they're both in their 80s and both healthy. Because heart disease is not what it used to be, where you just dropped dead of a heart attack in 1969. Heart disease peaked. It was incredible.
Really?
Yeah, everyone was dying because everyone was smoking and everyone was eating crap.
Yeah.
And it's diminished then because we've got new medications but mainly new surgeries to actually literally physically open up the arteries to the heart again.
Yeah, right.
Which is a stent, which usually goes through the artery.
You could take some red yeast rice. You could take some pomegranate.
Yep.
You could take some other things to clear out your arteries as well too. Cayenne pepper. Oh my God, Steve, we've got to do one on cayenne pepper.
I know.
Cayenne, guys, we'll do something on cayenne because cayenne for the heart and for the circulatory system is unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Throw a bit of the paprika and cayenne pepper on your eggs every morning.
Yeah.
Guarantee you'll be, anyway.
Because smoking also increases free radicals in the body. Now, when it comes to cancer, it damages the DNA, so you get cancer from that. But with the hardening arteries, you oxidize the LDL or the bad cholesterol. And that's the stuff that really is dangerous for your heart.
Yeah.
Because when it gets oxidized, the macrophages inside the arteries go, oh, that's bad. I'm going to grab that and take that out.
What would be the top 5 things for heart disease, Steve? I mean, I know we're digressing a little bit, but I don't know which order you'd put them in, but let's say lack of exercise.
Yeah.
Let's say high sugar diets.
Yes.
Let's say rancid fats or trans fats and free radical fats.
Yeah, free radical fats, yeah.
Let's say a lack of antioxidants and specifically things that are good for the blood, like pomegranates and stuff like that. What would be your sort of like your top your top 5?
Well, I'd add smoking to that.
And smoking,
yeah,
of course.
Smoking.
Would that be them?
No, I'd have to add obesity in there.
Okay.
So,
but what would you list in terms of like from 1 to 5, like 1 being the absolute worst thing that you could either do or that you should avoid?
All right, probably, and I'm going to say smoking too, but number 1 is obesity, simply because obese individuals are associated with, not always, but are associated with poor exercise
and diet.
Yep.
Okay.
And so those 2 things are kind of in the obesity category.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a little bit overweight and I'm talking obese, which is BMI 30 plus.
Yep.
So that's what's second thing, smoking.
Right.
That's well known to cause heart disease.
Lose weight, don't smoke. Yep. Next.
The third one is to obviously regular exercise is extremely. They call it cardiovascular exercise for a reason.
Yep.
It's really, really heavily associated with the reduction of those things.
Okay.
Fourthly, eat a healthy diet.
Yep. So removing the oils.
Removing the oils and having a Mediterranean keto / those
healthy
sort of
oils,
healthy
lots
oils,
of fresh
colourful
vegetables,
eat for the rainbow and all those sorts of things. And number 5 is a weird one: hypertension.
Stress.
Stress, anything causes hypertension. So anything increases your blood pressure, which could be stress, could be idiopathic, which means you don't know what caused it, could be genetic, could be whatever.
Okay.
So because if you've got constant physical pressure against your arteries, they damage. So if you've got high blood pressure for 20, 30 years and it's not managed using natural medicine or whatever, then you will damage your blood vessels and you will get heart disease. They call it the silent killer.
Yep.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that's for your heart, but also strokes and all the same sort of risk factors.
Yep.
Smoking's terrible for strokes.
Yeah.
And that video didn't mention strokes or heart disease, so they said 16%. So you got over 50% chance of getting early deaths from heart disease, stroke, or lung cancer or any cancer.
So coming back to that video,
overwhelmingly,
regardless of the statistics or the way that they may be slightly skewed, these oils are trouble.
Terrible.
And you want to avoid them. All right.
Always.
Do we want to go to another?
The other ones.
Because we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No.
And this is where a little bit of truth, a little bit of information put into a wrong context can sound incredibly convincing, but actually be not only missing the mark, can actually be 180 degrees wrong.
Correct.
So anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So what's this one? This
Captain
one?
Morgan.
Who's Captain?
All right, I'm about to drop some truth that all of you people need to hear. Look, all of this behind me, this is all poison. Vegetable oil, Crisco, Pam, all this shit is poison for your body. If you're gonna get something, get extra virgin olive oil, or even better would be 100% avocado oil.
Okay,
so he reckons avocado oil is better than virgin olive oil.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Not that there's anything wrong with avocado oil.
Yeah.
But olive oil has well-known scientific benefits for the human body, very well studied.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything wrong with avocado oil.
And I love avocados, and you should definitely.
And there's data showing that's good too. But just the weight of the evidence shows that olive oil is incredibly associated with good health, reduce cancer and heart disease.
All right, so he's an influencer there, Captain Morgan, or we should call him Captain Potty Mouth, but we'll bleep those things out. Thank you, Captain Morgan. Beautiful beard, by the way.
This is the most disgusting aisle in the store, the seed oil aisle. Look, it's heart disease and diabetes and cancer all right here. The only oil I eat is avocado oil. I like this one right here, avocado oil. I like olive oil, but look, this is filtered. You can't even see the olive sediment anymore. If you can't see the olives, it's not natural anymore. It's been filtered. So avocado oil, olive oil, MCT oil, raw butter. That's all I use. Get rid of all this crap. It's just not worth having it in your diet. Seriously, get rid of it.
Okay, so he didn't really go into a lot of details there in terms of obviously, but he's partially right. MCT, medium chain triglycerides, typically from coconut, Steve. We haven't mentioned that. Where would you put those?
Oh, coconut oil is good to cook with once, but as I said, repeated eating of even coconut oil causes cancer.
Medium chain triglycerides, Steve?
Yeah. They're saturated fats.
Yep.
They're usually found in coconut oil.
Yep.
And it depends on the carbon length. They're a medium length. The shorter like butyric acid that's found in butter, as name would suggest.
Yep.
Then you get the long saturated fats like palmatic acid. They're actually bad for you. Yep. But the saturated fats that are in the middle or medium chain, triglycerides, which are fats, are healthy for you.
Yeah.
And they're found typically in coconut oil.
I like MCT. I used to recommend it for guys because it's very readily available energy source as well.
It doesn't get stored well, so it has to be used.
So, and that's a cool thing about MCT.
Yeah.
However, Steve-O, at our list, we're still putting. And what was he talking then about? Hey, you can't see the avocado, so therefore, don't do it.
You can't see the olive oil. Yeah, if it's over filtered. It's not the sediment, because sediment's easily removed with just a filter. That doesn't harm the oil. No. But what you want is the colour in there, the polyphenols.
Sure.
So you still
want it to typically like a yellowy sort of.
Greeny colour. Yeah. And you try and keep the olive oils to that.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really good one. And olive oil, as I said, people are going to disagree, but the weight of the scientific data the world I live in, is that it's shown to be across the board to be very healthy for you, even if you cook with it.
Okay.
So that's what I like about it. It's a simple take-home message one that use olive oil, but you can use the other oils as well.
What about nut oils like what was the other macadamia nut oil?
Very good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, very good for you.
So where would you rate that? And again, if we're going to say that olive oil is the gold standard, virgin, cold pressed. I mean, again, so these are all things, right? Like, and again, you want your non-GMO. I don't know if there is any GMO crops of olives. Are there? Maybe there is.
No, they grow pretty readily. So,
okay.
And they're from trees, so you don't typically need to GMO those ones. They're not sprayed.
So then, and macadamia is same sort of thing, right? I mean, you'd never spray a macadamia. I wouldn't know, but you wouldn't think so. I mean, if you guys have ever seen a macadamia nut, it is wrapped in, like, nothing's getting through there.
No.
You don't need to spray macadamia
not
nuts,
even your
right?
teeth.
No. But that's another hardy crop, right? So like it doesn't need to be sprayed. So if we're going to put not canola, we're going to put olive oil at the absolute top.
Yeah.
What's the next one down?
All right, we're not going to heat these ones?
Yeah, we're going to heat them.
Oh, all right. Well, because I've got one that's a really good one to have, but
you'd have it in your salad. You're not cooked with it. But okay, well, let's talk about cooking.
Macadamia oil is pretty good because heating macadamias and toasting them doesn't form any problems at all. In fact, it can improve the health of them. Remember, we did a podcast on those nuts.
Yeah.
So listen to that podcast on nuts. So heating that sort of oil is very good for you.
Okay.
So not too much.
And it's probably not a bad idea to maybe combine some of these oils or maybe use different ones because you'd be getting different benefits, right?
Of course you would be.
So we're going with olive, then macadamia, then avocado.
Yes, avocado certainly in there.
Okay, and then anything else?
MCT in there too.
And then MCT.
Or coconut oil, we'll just call it that.
But you just got to be careful that you don't go too high with the heat, right?
Correct. And so, like, if you are, like, I bake these, I'll call them brownies, but they're healthy brownies.
Yeah.
They've got
medicinal brownies.
Oh, they don't have any. But I used
It's not.
Sorry?
Then why have they been eating these things, Steve?
Yeah, I know. I've offered you some. Have you eaten them before? The brownies are
yes.
They're nice,
Steve.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's cooked with or it's baked with MCT. Now, baking at 160 degrees, totally fine.
Yep.
So that's quite stable.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I use the MCTs for.
All right.
Because they're good. They're good for your brain. Very, very, very healthy for you because they do get readily burnt, which means they produce ketones, so they're very good for your brain.
Yeah, and people on a ketogenic diet might actually maybe preferentially use those. So,
yeah, absolutely. Right. It's solid at room temperature. That's the only trick. Yeah, so in winter, it's a solid. You have to put it in hot water, so it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all right. So that's good. We'll get another one there. Oh, we've got Paul. I don't remember this one.
My recent reel on the dangers of canola oil was flagged for misinformation, but everything I said in there was supported by actual medical science. I stated that seed oils are harmful for humans, but in the misinformation fact check article, it says claims that seed oils are harmful are misleading. I don't know how they can say that when there is a 24-week study of increased consumption of seed oils that clearly shows this leads to increased levels of lipid peroxidation, a known cause of cardiovascular disease. Yet another study showed that when you increase seed oils with linoleic acid in them and decrease saturated fat, oxidized LDL and LP(a) go up. Those are clear, strong risk factors for cardiovascular disease. And another study in which participants were given soybean oil found that levels of LPPLA2 went up. LPPLA2 is another known strong risk factor for cardiovascular disease and an indicator of blood vessel damage. There are also multiple observational studies that strongly associate seed oil consumption with increased rates of macular degeneration, and the largest randomized controlled trial with increased consumption of seed oils ever done in humans, containing over 9,000 participants over 5 years, found increased seed oil consumption led to increased rates of death, especially in those aged greater than 65 years. It's not surprising that one of the main experts mentioned in this fact check article, who claims that seed oils are a health promoting food, is also the person who spearheaded the Food Compass guidelines, which famously claimed that frosted mini wheats were healthier than things like a whole egg or ground beef. Nutritional science is complicated, and having open discourse about conflicting ideas is how we all learn. It's incredibly dangerous that posts like this are being censored on social media based on what some third party determines is medical or nutritional truth. We need to be able to speak freely about conflicting ideas so that we can all learn and understand how we can be the most healthy.
100%. I don't know who that guy is. He's
Carnivore
great.
MD. I've never, it's funny because that's the only one I didn't watch it.
Salad. Saladino. Well, his name says everything. But I don't know who that guy is, but he's absolutely spot on.
That's
discourse.
incredible.
Well, one of the things I noticed as well too is that the study he's referring to was done in 1968, and they proved it categorically back then, 1968 to 1973, before I was born. Steve, you're an old man at that point. But what it goes down to is that you probably remember the study.
Yeah,
but what it comes down to though is that this information is not new, but you can see the biases as far as industry is concerned that do not want this information to go out there. Now, you can call me the conspiracy, and this is a word that has been weaponized to make people afraid to approach or question anything. And we say you've got to question everything. What he is saying then in terms of the narrative and discourse and discussion is absolutely needed in all areas of science, because if your idea is crap, it will not hold up underneath scrutiny. But unfortunately, he who has the gold makes the rules is an old saying and is as true today as ever. If people have fundamentally profit centers, they're entrenched. And this is where you see things like Frostos. I don't know what that sounds like, a cereal though with sugar in it, is better for you than an egg. I mean, come on. I mean, like, and the problem is that people that are uneducated who just listen to talking heads, they see that labeled as disinformation and straight away they go back to their old ways of eating, which makes the complexes, the medical complex, the food complexes, the different entrenched institutions richer and wealthier, while people's health is getting absolutely sold up the river. These people, seriously, I mean, they are evil. Because there is absolute scientific proof, and they label it as misinformation because they don't want the truth to come out and pull down their house of cards.
There is no misinformation about what he said there. Look, all right, he's a doctor, that's good, but he's quoted all the studies. You see that? He went bang, 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 bang. So I mean, and the fact that you label something, no, this is misinformation. As soon as, I've seen that on the internet. As soon as I see it, I kind of assume that it's true.
Yeah.
I know that sounds terrible, but and look what he's got in front of him. They're completely whole foods, which are very healthy. Bone marrow's in there. You can see that in the front of the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, look how lean he is.
Yeah, he's as ripped as a...
Jesus, just
he looks
notice
good.
that. Looks almost as good as me.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
But it's great. I mean, obviously, he trains hard as well too.
Yeah.
And look, the carnivore diet, I'm definitely would not have a problem with doing that. And in terms of eating the carnivore diet, the thing I like about it, it removes a lot of processed foods, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But I was just going to say,
he's got his shirt off there, Jeff.
Yeah,
he's not young either.
He looks like an older guy. Yeah, that's right.
And he looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Wow.
Good on him. So what I was going to say, he's getting a bit of vitamin D there and there.
Yes.
Anyway, Steve-O.
Yes.
Is there anything else on TikTok, Matt or Steve, that you wanted to share that sort of the stupid end of town? Because I didn't know. I thought we were going to show
that last one.
Well, I like that. That's not stupid. That's smart. That guy, we could be friends.
Top of it.
In fact,
No, they're just
the
ones that we sent through, the 5 of them there. They all have a similar theme, and they're all pretty much correct. Which, if you heat vegetable oils, very bad for you.
Sure.
Okay. If you heat olive oil and coconut oil and saturated fats like butter, once they're fine. We know that. Okay. But there is an oil that if you have raw, it's extremely beneficial for you. In fact, without it, you die. It's an essential fatty acid, and they haven't mentioned it.
What is it?
It is a seed oil.
Go for it.
It's called linolenic acid, or alpha linolenic acid. And it is extremely beneficial for your heart and your brain and everything.
Yeah.
And I'll read this review paper on it. It says the impact of alpha, it's still not the best fat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've got a better one.
Okay.
Well, this one's essential, so I don't know if it's better. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Impact of alpha-linolenic acid, the vegetable omega-3 fatty acid on cardiovascular disease and cognition. It has an anti-inflammatory effect. It reduces the bad cholesterol and triglycerides. It reduces blood pressure, and it reduces diabetes and heart disease.
What's it found in, Steve?
It's found in hemp seed oil.
Oh.
Yeah, and flaxseed oil.
Okay. Yeah. Flaxseed is something I haven't ever put in my diet. Well, not for years.
No. It's not a very well known, but it's called alpha-linolenic acid, and it's an 18 carbon omega-3.
I do get a little bit of hemp seed.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't mentioned supplements, but I do actually get it in a supplement. But what else? Surely it must be found in other things, Steve.
It's pretty much found in nuts and seeds as well.
Okay.
But at low amounts.
Right.
And we need about 4 times as much of this oil as we do the omega-6s.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're having an omega-6 like a normal vegetable...
Do you reckon most people are deficient in this oil?
Yeah, most of them are. Because you need omega-3 oils. Australians eat too much omega-6 because we eat too much of the...
So this is
oils.
So ALA is an omega-3? Okay.
Yeah.
So would you get it in fish?
No, the fish takes that oil and converts it into down the chain, which is called docosahexaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid.
Right.
So they're classically called the fish oils.
Yeah, right.
But this one's only in vegetables.
Okay.
So and we need it.
Well, give me some other sources, Steve. I mean, for you and I, we're fine because we take a supplement that has hemp oil in it, right?
We do, yeah.
And/or what was the other thing that you said?
Flaxseed oil.
Flaxseed, yeah.
Now, all the other seeds do have a small amount of this, but the amount of omega-6 in it, because they're all mixed throughout nature.
You get an overabundance of omega-6.
I've picked on this one because it is an omega-3. It's not EPA DHA. Your body can make EPA DHA, so it's not essential for humans. Sure. But this one is an essential fatty acid.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
What's the intake amount that you need per day?
You need about, what is it? I'm just doing the maths in my head now. About 20 grams of omega-3s per day.
Right. And how much of this do you need the ALA?
Oh, this 20 grams.
20 grams?
Yeah.
You need 20 grams of this?
Yeah. You need about 100 grams of fat a day.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a healthy fat diet.
Jeez.
I mean, not the low-fat thing that we've hopefully debunked many years ago.
Predican diet.
And you need a ratio of 1 of this omega-3 to 4 omega-6. That's the classic ratio. Humans eat 1 to 15 and all this. We're very deficient in omega-3s.
Wowzers.
So if you just get a handful of flax or something like that weighs about 30 or 40 grams, it's about half oil, and that'll do it.
Okay.
Very easy to get, but most people don't have flax oil.
No, I don't.
No, it's I have occasionally, but not as much as I should. Or hemp seed oil. So hemp seeds are very good too.
Yep.
So this is why we're all deficient in this stuff.
Okay.
Very good for you. It protects against heart disease. So, but you ready for the killer fat now? Oh, the non-killer fat.
That you mean like your top of the pops, Steve?
Top of the pops. Now, this is not an essential fat, so people are going to argue that one's better because you need it.
Okay.
But have you heard of conjugated linoleic acid?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'll read the title here, and it kind of says it all. It actually does say it all. This is a paper published 2020, and it's published in Nutrients, and it says, and I quote, conjugated linoleic acid and its beneficial effects in obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer.
I remember this was discovered. Wasn't this discovered by accident?
Yeah.
Was it a guy? Was it rendered fat? What was it? That
you have to cook linoleic acid at a moderate temperature in a certain way, and you can make this stuff.
So, what would this be found naturally in your food, Steve? When
naturally
you cook it?
found in cheese and cooked meats.
Cooked meats.
Yeah.
So vegans are going to have a hard time.
Vegans are going to have a hard time. You can supplement with it, but yeah, it's mainly found in those sort of products. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I remember the original one. I remember it had all sorts of anti-carcinogenic, but I think somebody somewhere in the world got really squirrely about that.
Yeah.
This was banned in Australia for a long time.
Yeah, it was. Well, look at it.
But
I won't say anything else. But yeah, it was banned.
yeah.
You know, this is a really good,
especially for obesity, right? It really helps with weight loss.
Really helps with weight loss. That's where its claim to fame is. You know, it activates. It also is anti-inflammatory too. You know, that is so.
How does that help with weight loss, Steve? What pathway?
It works as a PPAR gamma. Dependent, yeah.
Okay.
So it activates enzymes to help you burn fat.
Yeah.
So it's a really important one. And there's so much biochemistry.
It would be one of the things that I'd recommend fasted first thing in the morning before you're doing cardio would be an excellent time to use this.
Fat, yeah.
Yeah. You maybe combine it with some peppermint or some other things, Steve-o, and you might be laughing.
Maybe. So it also cleans out your arteries too. So it actually goes in there and, you know.
What helps with cholesterol?
Yeah, it gets rid of the cholesterol out of your arteries. Not many things do that.
No.
The oil, some of the special oils like this one does,
yeah.
But it actually reverses atherosclerosis inside your arteries.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So really good stuff. So, you know, this is where you can really take efforts. Now, how much you need of this? It's 3.2 to 3.4 grams a day. Mm-hmm. So don't need a lot. And it's a very powerful medicine, but it has been shown, and I'll just read. Meta-analysis of 3 human studies concluded that CLA supplementation induced a significant reduction in body weight and body fat mass when at 3.2 to 3.4 grams for at least 6 months. So
it's not a quick fix.
No.
And look, nothing ever is.
No.
And look, as I said in my school, you know how you write things in the school thing with the photo next to you? Mine was, if it happens fast, it doesn't last.
That's right. That's story of my life.
Yeah.
Beck does listen to these podcasts, doesn't she? Yeah. But isn't that a cool one? Like of all the oils, we've got some good news. We've got
that is good.
CLA, and we've got the omega-3 oil for cognition.
In summary, Steve-o,
yep.
Eating these sorts of things. We did a podcast recently on nuts. Nuts are a fantastic source of good fats as well too.
Yep.
You know, don't be going to eating your chips and your stuff, especially in takeaway restaurants and stuff like that. Use butter. Use macadamia nut oil. Use avocado oil, and of course, the king of the oil is the olive oil. Use them, and then throw them out. I mean, I don't think too many people are going to be frying and deep frying and that sort of stuff, Steve-o. But add oils to your salads and that sort of stuff as well too.
Cold pressed.
Cold press is the way to go.
And you can it opens it up a bit because you can put flaxseed oil on your salad because you don't have to heat it.
Yep.
You heat it, all bets are off.
Yep.
Because it's a polyunsaturated.
Yes.
So raw, fine.
Yep.
And you've just got to be careful with what you do and try and look out for CLA or conjugated linoleic acid on that one.
Yeah.
Because it just has such a great resume. I mean, it helps with obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
if you could use something first thing in the morning, maybe with a little bit of peppermint or something like that.
It's a great way to start the day.
Fantastic,
Really good.
A few other omegas as well too.
Yep.
Say no more.
Omegas, try and get the ones with the odd numbers: 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Yep. Yep.
6 is okay, but we're getting a lot of 6.
Yeah, and it's something that's probably misunderstood and not spoken a lot about. But they can be helpful. Supplements are always secondary to your food, or if you're using it for a specific purpose where you need high levels of concentration, like if you are trying to lose weight or you're obese, or you're on a ketogenic-based diet, supplementation may be of some benefit. But the foundation of everything should always be your food, your diet, incorporating these things into your everyday.
And it's funny how when it's fact-checked, it's usually correct.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Thanks, Steve-O.
We'll see you next week then.
See you next week.
So-
Steve-O.
Yes.
Now, I've got my little book of tricks here, my cheat book, which is just awesome because we're nailing it. But, mate, I'll let you go first.
Good.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Thank you.
Age before beauty.
Because we're up to the letter B, aren't we?
We are.
And mine's a B one.
Okay, go for it.
What if I said to you, I'm off to the bottle-o?
You're off to get some grog.
Grog. Oh, got another one. Or plonk.
Yep.
Is that
Plonk,
an Aussie
haven't
thing?
it? It is, but it's an old man's word.
Oh, so that's my word, yeah.
Yeah. You're off to get some alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The Bottle-o.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually is there a franchise called Bottle-o's?
I think there is, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, very Australian.
So I've just made some sort of plug to some.
All right. Now I'm going to go rapid fire on you, Steve.
All right,
because I love this book, and of course we're running out of time. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, that's all right. We'll keep going as quick as we can. All right. So I don't want you to stall. I want you just as quick as you can. All right. Backhander.
Oh yeah, a backhander is like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Or getting struck by a backhand.
Yeah, but it's also known as a bribe. It's an older word, give you a backhander. Backhander. Like this stuff.
Yep.
All right, back of beyond.
Back of beyond is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, back in the bush or the outback. Back of Burke.
Same thing.
Bad news. That person is bad news.
Oh, they're just not very nice or not good.
A troublesome person.
Yep.
Mate, you've had a bad trot.
Bad trot, it means you had a bad run of events.
Yep. Baffle you with BS.
It means they baffle you. That means they confuse you with, can we say BS? Like what
lies.
It means?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Steve, you left potty mouth. Bag. And this can be used in a few different ways.
Oh, yeah.
You old bag.
Yeah, that's a derogatory term for an elderly woman.
Yeah. What about if I bag you out?
I don't know. Does that mean choke to death?
Steve-O, are you Australian?
No, bag you out. Oh, bag you out. Yeah, that means to have a go at you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking of something different.
Come on.
God, I've slipped there.
I haven't heard this one before. Bag of fruit. Bag of fruit suit.
I've never heard of that.
Put on your best bag of fruit.
I've never heard of that.
Which is put on your suit. Must be,
guess,
I don't know, probably from Tasmania.
Yeah.
They're not even connected to the mainland.
No,
so.
they're not really Australian.
They're not really.
No.
Didn't they leave them off the map in which Commonwealth Games did they leave them off the map? Was it in 1982 Commonwealth Games?
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The one held in Brisbane, Australia.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they do have two tails.
Yeah.
Or is it just one tail and two heads? I always get that mixed up, something like that. Barley belly.
Oh, that's when you get sick from travelling overseas to Bali and you get this classic gastrointestinal bug.
Diarrhea. Yep.
Yeah.
Bail. I'm gonna bail, mate.
You're gonna leave.
You're gonna leave. Balls and all.
That means that you're really keen on the event.
That's it.
Yeah.
Balls up.
Oh, balls up means you make a bad mistake.
Yep.
Mistake.
What's a banana bender?
That's a Queenslander, like me. I'm a Victorian.
Yeah.
So I'm a Mexican. Are we allowed to say that or not? Because you're from south of the border. That's what I was called.
Bang on.
Bang on means correct.
Banged up.
That means you're injured.
Or
banged up.
Banged up my girlfriend.
Oh, you got the girl pregnant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Barbie. Well, we know that one.
Yeah.
Barney.
Having a Barney is like having an argument.
Barrack for Essendon.
It means cheer for your team.
Yep. That's a beast.
It's a great Usually car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Beating around the bush.
Oh, that just means you're talking rubbish or something, not on topic.
Basket case.
It means that thing has had its day.
Yeah. I'm going to skip down to some of the better ones here, okay? Because, mate, there's so many. I
didn't know.
I didn't even know. Bee's dick.
It's a very small measurement.
You're good at that measurement, Steve.
Yes, unfortunately I am.
Bee's knees.
Oh, that's a good thing. Like if you're the bee's knees, you're the.
This is one I haven't heard for a while. I used to hear when I first came to New Zealand from New Zealand. I came here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's a Bevan. I'm like,
oh, Bevan is.
How do you know he's Bevan?
Well, yeah. It's somebody who's usually a bogan into cars.
Do you remember what they used to wear? Because I used to remember. I came over here in 1987, 88, and my guys were getting around flannel shirt, jeans, and either Ugg boots or fluffy moccasins on their feet.
Yes.
And I'd be like, you're dead set. And they'd have the dangly things from the car.
Yep.
And they would hoon around.
Yep. Hoon around.
And mate, and they loved getting in scraps.
Yes.
Yep.
Scraps is fights for those who, if that's an Aussie word.
Yeah. Mate, there's so many.
I know.
You know what I'm going to do? Because I was just going through all of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, I reckon, the best ones. Because, here's one. Biffo.
Oh, Biffo is like having a fight.
Bring back the biff.
Bring back the biff.
Mate, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Burko.
Oh, going Burko.
She's Burko.
Oh. Crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't, this she, I just, Burko.
Yeah, well, he's Burko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big whoop.
No big deal.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave it there, mate. There's so many. And I just, all of these things are like, they're things that we would use all the time. But when you see them all together and you go, my gosh, this is, so I just have to, again, thank Keegan for this book because I love this book.
I just thought some of these words were part of the Queen's English language.
No, they're just part of the Australian slang language. Anyway, Steve, that's enough Australiana for today. And let's get going. So
poor old Galileo. He's just a poor man from a poor family.
Spare him his life from his monstrosity, right? That's what I said to Tony the other day. I said, that's a stoat. She goes, what's wrong with that? I said, that's the lesser of two weasels.
Oh, no.
That's terrible.
So even if you repeatedly heat...
Actually, she's eating a biscuit the other day.
Really?
Yeah, and there was two little bugs in there, a big one and a small one. I said, that's the lesser of two weevils.
Oh,
okay, I'll stop.
But you're being serious because I thought she eats really well. She's a brilliant eater. Oh, goodness me.
She's a gobbler.
Yeah. Oh, didn't even think
Actually,
of that.
take that out. I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean it like that. Take that out.
I'll leave that one in.
No. No. Keep going.
Oh, dear. All right.